Although I think,
Okay, here's Charles.
yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh,
Hey,
How are we all doing?
okay.
All right, sorry I'm running a little late here. I'm trying to get some photos transferred so we can get into what we're doing. So just give me a few minutes.
okay, no, you got it.
Hedge funds are just completely back on their
Hey,
heels.
Avatar.
And so
I'm sorry, what, John?
I just was saying hello to Avatar.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, okay. Find the right button. Okay, say that again.
I was just saying hello to the other
Oh,
people,
okay.
Avatar.
You're awfully quiet.
Everybody is, yes.
Yeah, well, no, the volume on the TV
Oh.
seems low.
Oh, I'm trying a different a headset. I'm outside. I'm trying a headset. I can hear good.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, John.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, but all you guys are kind of quiet. I mean, it's like the volume is down on the TV for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let me get this transferred to the place it needs to go. Copy here, please. There we go. Hey. I like it when the TV actually works the way it's supposed to.
It's nice.
Yes. It's nice when
It
things
helps.
actually work.
Right.
When they don't,
May I say something?
no, we're not going to let you say anything, Armando.
Good.
I mean, come on, really?
Yeah, you're supposed to be there in person, Armando.
What would you like to say, Armando?
The reason that I'm not there is because I took the test yesterday. I'm waiting for the result. I was exposed. I'm fine. I don't feel anything.
Oh, you took the COVID test yesterday?
Yes, I'm not waiting for
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That explains a lot.
Just trying to be nice with everybody.
Okay.
That's good.
We
All right, well-
appreciate that.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you for being, conscious of that.
Mhm.
And, okay, let's see. That to move to, and we want to go to camera roll. Right there. Ta-da! Wow. When things actually work, it's amazing. All right, camera roll. Let's go there. All right, and let's select that one. And let's open it. There we go. Yay! And then we can minimize that and get it out of the way. Okay. Guess what? Yes, it's Friday. All right, we made it. All right. Hi, everybody. How are we doing? You all. Okay. We have a new person right here. This is Susan. And Susan and I have been bouncing around Atlanta forever. She was are you still a member of the Atlanta Artists Center?
I'm maybe, yeah, I'm not sure, but I really haven't.
Yeah, unless you sign up,
Yeah,
you're not.
20 years, I've just been,
Okay.
it's
All right,
been a
cool.
while.
Anyway, yeah,
I'm
talented
very
artist.
interested.
Yeah, talented artist. Been around Atlanta for a very long time. Okay. Anyway, guess what we're going to talk about today? Anybody got a clue?
Form?
How about
Form.
drawing?
Yes, we're going to talk
Form.
about form, but we're going to break into this horrible, scary thing called perspective.
Respect.
Okay? And I'm going to explain why we're going to break into perspective, because, the little exercise that we did last week where we drew the figure and we were thinking about sort of the shape of the ribs and the shape, kind of that underpants shape, for the pelvis.
Mm-hmm. You see,
Well, if a
perspective
figure isn't
and
doing
paint.
this, right, three of them down, let's say they're laying down on the floor or they're sitting or they're laying on their side or something, all of a sudden, those shapes, what happens to them? Anybody got a clue? They change, don't they? Because your
Oh, yeah.
viewpoint changes, right? So all of
Yeah.
a sudden, they're in perspective. There we go. All right. So let's dive into perspective a little bit, okay? Anybody have a clue as to what perspective is?
It's where,
Heading out to,
it's where we,
going out to the vanishing point.
Yes, it has something to do with vanishing points.
it's what we expect for somebody or for ourselves or for something.
Armando, you're going to have to yell. I'm having a hard time hearing. The volume on this is...
I mean,
Okay.
it's that we expect for ourselves from something or from somebody. Huh?
You're so far, you've been the closest. Hang on.
Did you push this thing that shows
Yeah, I did.
the one on the bottom?
Uh-huh. Yeah, right here.
No, on the screen. On the screen.
On the right.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Raise it
Oh,
up.
he's gonna be very loud.
Try it now, Armando.
I say, prospect to me like I expect from somebody or from something or from myself.
Okay. All right. You might want to... Well, that horizon line has something to do with it, okay? All right, perspective. You might want to write this down. Okay. Perspective is more or less a mechanical way that you can describe the position of the viewer, being you, and the objects that they relate to you. That's perspective. Okay. Now, in particular, we are going to talk about one kind of perspective today. And the perspective that we're going to talk about today is called lineal perspective. Okay, lineal. Why would it be called lineal perspective?
Lines.
Yes. What do you do with those lines? What do you do with those lines, John?
I don't
Connect them
know.
into a,
Connect them.
connect them into a vantage point.
They extend to a point.
Yes, they extend to vanishing points, don't they? Okay? Now, think of it this way. And again, you might want to write this down. Okay? Because different people use different terminology. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Eye level. Okay? Eye level. Okay? All that means is, where are you? Are you standing up looking out at something? And where are the things in relation to you? Are they at your eye level, below your eye level, or above your eye level, right? Another thing you might want to consider is that the eye level is the same thing. You might just want to write, eye level equals horizon line. They are the very same thing. So if I say you look out there at the horizon line, then you know that what I'm talking about is also your eye level. Okay? How many people have been to the beach?
Once or twice.
Once or twice? Okay.
Once or twice.
Many times.
Okay. Well, you notice that if somebody's talking in the background, can we mute ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're standing on the beach and you're looking out toward the ocean, you'll notice that all of a sudden the water comes to a stop, doesn't it? And then the sky starts, right? Well, that's
where you fall off the edge.
That's right. Yes, that is. Yes, if you're flat Earth, or you can go that far and you fall off. Okay. Now, being an ex-member of the U.S. Coast Guard, I can tell you that that's not true. Okay.
Oh no.
Because you can sail out there, and the damn thing keeps moving. It just keeps getting further away. You don't ever reach it. It's very frustrating, And it doesn't matter what speedboat you're in. you can never get to the horizon line. Because guess what? Columbus kind of knew this. The Earth is curved, right? And in fact, when you're out on a boat on the ocean, if the ocean is calm, that's a caveat there, okay? Then you can see for about 7 miles. After 7 miles, you can't see any further. Why? Well, the water keeps on going, but it goes around the curve of the Earth. You can't see any further. Okay? Now, there is a way around that. Okay? You could move the Empire State Building to Miami, or a beachfront property, and stand on the top of the Empire State Building. And if you did that, you could probably see about 30 miles. Okay? So the higher you go up in elevation, the further you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. But let's say that you're not standing on the ocean, okay? Let's say, in fact, that you're standing somewhere here in Sandy Springs, all right, and you're looking at a building and people and stuff walking around in front of you. You can't always see the horizon line, can you? Yes? No? Maybe? Anybody else?
No.
No. Okay, good. You guys need more coffee out there. That's all there is to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't see the horizon line around this place. Why? There's too darn many trees in the way.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere in Georgia. Okay. Which is why if you live here, you have to learn how to paint trees. Okay. And or you've got to move somewhere west of the Mississippi to the Great Plains or the mountains where they don't have so many trees in the way. And then you can paint more open landscapes. But, this is a problem here because, you can't really see that far oftentimes. Something in the way. So, let's start talking about lineal perspective. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yeah, the Golden Gate.
Yes, what's it doing? Other than sitting there.
Sometime I heard it bounce a little bit. I don't know. It is true or false.
It what?
It bounced a little bit with the wind. I heard. I don't know.
Oh, it bounces. Yeah, it does. It moves. Yeah, on a particularly windy day.
Moving in direction of a point.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, as far as our discussion, yeah, this is what we would call a 2-point perspective. Okay. Where is the bridge? Is it at our eye level, above our eye level, or below our eye level?
Below.
Below our eye. Yes. We are more or less up above it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Okay, you got that one right. Okay, how about here? Are we above, at, or below these buildings?
At the
Above.
eye level or
Above.
the eyes level.
Yeah, generally above. Our eye level is somewhere about in here.
Now what happens to the rooftops over there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, all of this is kind of below us. Now, this is actually above. Okay, so we got a little above, a little below, right? And then really kind of about, this part, like right in here, is almost at our eye level. But I want you to notice something. You see this curve right here
Where?
on the dome?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. You notice the direction it's moving. Okay, it's dipped down slightly, right? So that tells us that that curve, that point right there, is still below our eye level. And our eye level is a little bit higher, probably about, well, really right here where these little, you can barely see them, but the little dots on the dome. Okay, because if you kind of connect them, they're almost a straight line. Okay?
So anything above the horizon is not on high level? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if it's above the horizon line, it's above our eye line. Yeah, in relationship to us. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's not talk about them yet. Not that. I gotta get there. Yeah, we've been there, done that. Okay, yeah, we got these guys. Come on, we got to keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, we're getting close. Okay, so this is your typical, what we would call 1-point perspective. Okay, now 1-point perspective. What does that mean?
It's all lines are focused on that one point, moving towards that one point on your horizon.
Yes, there is a vanishing point right there, okay, in the middle of this, okay? And all of the, what we call vanishing points, see, here's our eye level, okay? The floor, the ceiling, like the tops of the doors and windows, anything that is on any kind of surface that is either, perpendicular, to our eye level, in other words, something moving toward us, is going to have a vanishing point that ends back there on that horizon line. And in a 1-point perspective, they're all going to go to that one single point. Okay? Now, a perfect example of this is the hallway right out here. Okay?
That's in the center.
Yes, it is, Armando. You get a cup of coffee for that when you come here. How about that? Okay, notice, see all these lines, they're all going to a single point. Really, kind of right there where that sign is. Okay, that's right now. All right, but again, that's an example of a 1-point perspective. All right, now 1-point perspective are generally pretty easy. Okay, when you see them, you kind of get the idea real quick that all these things are going to a single vanishing point. Unfortunately, there we go, that's the word. Life isn't like that most of the time. It gives us a little more complicated things like this. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now this is called anybody?
A 2-point,
A 2-point perspective. How do we know it's 2 points?
because there's 2 places where vanishing lines would move to.
And where would they be?
One on the right and one on the
Yes. One on the right, one on the left at our eye level. Okay.
right.
Now, in this case, and you guys out in TV land can't see this, okay, but for the people here, if you go about 2/3 of the way up the wall, okay, that's kind of our eye level, right? You can draw a straight line all the way across here, right? And then this floor and this ceiling would go to a point out here, whoop, go back there, see, and end up kind of on our eye level out there. See? Likewise, the walls moving in this direction, right, would be going to another vanishing point way off to the left over here. Okay, so that's a 2-point perspective, right? So it's going to 2 vanishing points. Now keep in mind, you might want to write this down. Those vanishing points will always go to the horizon line or your eye level. They won't go above it. They won't go below it. They will go to that vanishing point. Okay? They have to. They cannot do otherwise. They don't have a choice. Okay? Now, sometimes you get little things like this. Okay? Kind of convoluted. Okay? But is this a 2-point perspective?
I believe so.
It is actually.
Yeah,
yes.
yes, I would say so.
Yeah. It's not going to one single point. See, these are going to a vanishing point, you know, somewhere out here, right? And all of the ones running, you know, perpendicular to that are going off to a vanishing point, you know, out here, but they're still going to be on the same horizon line. Okay. There you go. All right, 2 points. There's another example. You know. Okay. Now here, you actually have some great things to help you out. Okay. Notice the corner right here where the tile changes direction. Okay. Look at how rectangular the tile is on this face. It's facing toward us. And then as soon as it turns, what happens? All those tiles get pretty skinny, don't they? And they get pretty small. And if this actually continued all the way back to this wall, they wouldn't really change much. You know, they would still be long and narrow all the way back until they hit this wall, which is running parallel to this. And then they would, you know, look pretty similar, wouldn't they? Okay.
Well, the closest look rectangular, or the one in the back, they look real square.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty close. Yeah, there's a little bit different. Yeah, these are a little more open and a little more square. You know, the ones on the back wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the ones closer to us are a little more distorted.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why that is. Anybody got a clue?
Perspective.
Well,
You're looking directly at it.
well, it might have something to do with the fact that I took it with a camera. And cameras have curved lenses. And the closer things are on a, you know, with a curved lens, the more it distorts it. Okay. But I can almost assure you that the shape of these should actually be about the shape of these. Okay. Because they're moving parallel to each other. All right. So now that we've had a tour of the men's bathroom at Benson. Okay. So then you have, you know, pretty typical room. Okay, like this. What's going on here? Are you looking at a 2-point perspective or 1-point perspective?
1 point. And horizontal.
Two, at least two.
Yeah, it's definitely, well, yes, it's definitely 2. Okay. Yeah, because you see kind of the point where the wall comes together, really, which is further back because this is soffit. But, you know, they come together and then you get this going on, right? And so your vanishing point for this wall would be way back over here. And your vanishing point for this wall would be way back over here. And it would be a 2-point perspective for the room. Now, how about some of the things indoor? A lot of them would still be, yeah, a lot of them would still be 2-point perspective. Except for, well, actually just about everything in there. Yeah. Yeah, now you could treat, if you wanted to, yeah, you don't really have any of those chairs really at a 1-point perspective yet. Okay. So yeah, it'd be all just about all 2-point. Okay, how about here? 1 point, 2 point?
At least 2 points.
Yeah, 2 point. Yay. See, you guys are getting good at this. You know, it's getting easy, isn't it? All right, how about here?
Again, 2 points.
Yay. See? All right, now, I threw this in here, and this is easy. This is a 2-point perspective. But we have 2 very simple rectilinear forms, don't we? Okay. You know, the flower boxes, right? And I want to begin to start talking about the effect of light and we talked about that a little bit last week, light on planes, right? And the fact that anytime that you see a change in value, and everybody knows what value is, right?
Yeah.
It's how light or how dark something is, right? And in this case, we're talking about two sides that are lit up by the sun and two sides that are in shadow, right? So they're darker, right? But what that describes or tells you, anytime you see a change in value, is that you're seeing a change in the direction of the surface of the object that you're looking at. Okay? Clearly, that's going in a different direction than that. This is facing the light source. This is facing away from the light source, the shadow side, okay? Now, how about this? Is this a 1 point or is it a 2 point?
Well,
There's a lot of stuttering out there.
yeah, well, what I'm thinking is the fact it is really a 1 point in one perspective, but at least a 2 point from another. I mean, if you look at all the little detail on there, those are all, a lot of that's 2 point. Whereas the major thrust of the picture itself is a 1 point. That makes sense.
It does. It does. Okay. This is called an optical illusion. Okay. Because in fact, what you have going on, I threw this in there because sometimes you'll end up seeing things. Okay. The floor is not level and flat. It is actually going downhill, right? Okay. And the distance from floor to ceiling is actually shorter, closer to us, and much taller down there. Okay? But in fact, it is a 1 point perspective problem, generally. Okay? The only problem that you have is, what do you do with this floor? Because, and I hate to bring this up, this is where something called 3 point perspective comes into play. Yeah, okay. So this would technically be a 3 point perspective problem. Yeah. But in fact, you could treat it as a 1 for the most part and be perfectly fine, right? How about this? 1 point, 2 point, 3 point? Now that I'm confused. Yeah, it's a 1 point, right?
Looks like a lot fun.
Yeah. Now I want you to notice something, okay? A funny thing happens in architecture, particularly modern architecture, okay? Architects design in units, okay? Like columns, windows. And they have a really particularly bad habit of making them all exactly the same and repetitive, right? You know, how many office buildings do you see where they have a little tiny window and then big windows next to it? Not very often, okay? Generally, they're kind of the same size, okay? Look at your own house, right? Most of the windows are a certain size, right? You know, you get a window on this side of the room, and it's 32 inches by 64 inches, right? The window over here is 32 by 64, right? And every other window in your house is pretty much 32 by 64, okay? Now, you could have different sizes. Depending on when it was built and the style of it, it might vary a little bit. Sometimes, back in the old days, they used to really throw you off, and they used to stick 3 32 by 64 windows together and make one big window, right? And then sometimes they would even, instead of having a flat wall, they would angle 2 of the walls out and make kind of like a window seat, right? So architects can do all kinds of things like that, right? But generally, they work in pretty standard units, right? But notice what happens in 1 point perspective. Okay? This column, like up in the front with the little guy standing in the front, okay, that is in fact as big as column number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, column number 7 then. Okay? They are, in fact, the same size. If you went out and stood next to this column, which is right up there, okay, and then you walk down to column number 7 and stood next to it, your head would be at the same point in height. Okay? The top of that column would be the same distance above your head as, you know, any other column you're standing next to. But a funny thing happens with perspective. As things get further away, they tend to,
Look smaller.
yeah, they get smaller, don't they? Okay. And that's demonstrated.
And closer together.
Yes, and closer together, yes. Everything gets smaller as it moves further away, even though it may be the same size. Okay? Now, I got to go way back here. Come on. At least this thing is cooperating with me so far. Yeah, okay. So we're back to our 1-point perspective. And notice that we have somebody standing in the hallway. And here's our eye level. And if they're about the same size as us and not like a little child, then their eye level and our eye level are going to be pretty close. Maybe not exactly. They might be a little taller, a little smaller, right? But more or less, okay, it's going to be on the same eye level as ours. Now, if they backed up and they walked down the hall, does their eye level change?
No.
No. Have they shrank? No. They're just as small as they were then. So their eye level is still going to be kind of about where our eye level is, right? Now, things get tricky. You're tired of standing in the hallway, so you sit down. And all of a sudden, your eye level, which is where the line is, drops down to about where their elbow is. Huh. And of course, all these vanishing points change, and they all now disappear somewhere down here, right? Have they gotten any taller? They have in relationship to you, right? Yeah, because now all of a sudden their head is up above your eye level, right? And so what that tells us is that our eye level is lower. Okay. That might be. Okay. So everybody kind of get that? Yes, no, maybe out there in TV land?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody, is anybody conscious? Is anybody alive? All right. All right. So now that you've had an introduction to perspective, right? And all of you guys are saying, but why? Okay, you know, you have a scene like this. What's going on? It's obviously, is it a 1-point perspective?
No, it's at least 2.
At least 2, yeah. Maybe
Well,
3.
Yeah.
I see 3.
Yeah, the fact is you could almost treat it like a 1-point perspective, couldn't you?
Yeah, really, yeah, because
Yeah, you could.
Good.
You could. See, the lines of the roof, the sidewalk, they're going out here and they're kind of ending like right here at the center of this tree. And if, you know, which is the direction that the camera is pointed. And you could really almost get away with treating this like a 1-point perspective. Yeah, the corners right here, you'd have to do some good observation, you know, to connect them up. Now, you could treat it as a 2-point perspective if you want as well. Okay. The one would probably be easier if I were drawing than I would be investing. But yeah, that's one of those things. See, you got to make up your mind how you're going to treat it. Okay. You know, now some things you don't have a choice, right? They're clearly 2-point perspective. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to find those 2 vanishing points. Okay. Something like that. Okay. 1 point or 2 point? Yeah, okay. Same thing there, and just different angles. Yeah. Again, you know, that's, you could almost treat that like a 1, but, you know, it in fact is really a 2 point perspective. All right, so guess what we're gonna do next, kids?
Have a cup of coffee.
There you
No.
go. Armando, I like it.
No, we are not having a coffee break. All right, I want to find one final drawing that I did. Come on, I know you're in there. Not that one. Yeah, there's the, see, there's a 2 point perspective. Okay. So you got your eye level, right? And you see it goes off to these vanishing points out here. And the same thing with people, right? If they're at your eye level, they're going to be the same, right? As long as they're standing and walking like you are. Okay. But you see the side of this building goes off to one. This goes off to the other, right? Notice what the light is doing. See, it's coming in from high on the left-hand side. So this plane of the house is lit, and this side's in shadow, right? Okay, and how about trees, right? These people were very diligent when they bought their house, and they planted the same type of tree in a row, right? You know, as a nice decorative.
And they grew at the same rate.
Yeah, they kind of grew, you know, generally at the same rate. And guess what? They can be treated kind of the same, right? Now, if that was a fence or a telephone pole or a series of telephone poles, things like that going down, same thing, okay? So you can
Hey,
generalize.
Charles.
Yes,
Hey, Charles, and something like this. What I find difficult is when the vanishing point is really off your page.
yeah, like the one over on the right that goes like,
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I needed about another 10 inches of paper to find that.
So
So-
what do? You just sort of
You-
eyeball it? Or?
You estimate it. Yeah, you estimate it, okay? Now, and John, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Because that takes me to, okay, I was going to go there, but I'm not. That takes me to, this is what we painted yesterday. For those of you who did not go to the plein air. Okay, this is the Primitive Baptist Church. Okay. Can anybody tell me, is that a 1 point or a 2 point perspective? Come on, speak up out there.
It's a 2 point.
2 point, yes. Okay. Thank God. All right, yes, it is a 2 point perspective.
I'm trainable.
Yes, you are. And notice, see the roof
You get a
line?
doggy. You get a doggy treat.
That's right.
Woo!
Or come to the Benson Center and get a cup of coffee, right? You know, see windows, top of windows, the bottom, you know, they all kind of diminish and go to a vanishing point. Oh, probably out about here, okay? And my eye level was really kind of about here, okay? See? So all of this is up above me, all this is below me, okay? So it's a 2 point perspective. Aha! Okay, where'd you go? Okay, hang on. Make that smaller. Stop sharing. Let me go find them. Oh, I don't want that. Okay. Let me move you guys out of the way. There we go. That's not it either. That's not it either. There we go. Gotcha. All right, let me go find it. I know you're on there. Uh-huh. Well, the paintings are. Ah, no. No further over. Okay, I thought I put an actual photo of the church. Well, okay. I do. I have that. Now. Share. Go to the photo of the church. All right. So there's the church. Okay. Guess what we're going to do?
The church.
Yes, we're going to draw the church.
Okay. I saw your car on the right side.
Yeah, don't worry about the car. Okay.
因为你是报复一年的事，所以才是我觉得
Draw the church.
但你也是有享受。
Now I have to move everybody, get everybody's faces is
因
on.
为你报税的时候啦，就是可以每年
All
报税
right. Yeah, don't talk about it. Let's just draw it, okay? So I'm going to give you
你会报税。
poll. Let's take 15 minutes, okay? We'll take 15 minutes, draw the church, okay? Figure out, okay, very first thing you're going to do.
Question.
No, listen. Very first thing you're going to do
Uh-huh.
is you're going to figure out your eye level. How are you going to do that? Anybody?
Look at it, mine goes with the windows.
No. Okay. Now, it's hard to see, but if you look at the siding of the building, okay, are any of those running absolutely level?
No.
No,
No.
but they're pretty close all the way down to the bottom, aren't they? So the eye level is actually kind of about here.
I don't. Oops.
It's a little below the church. So the whole church really is above your eye level. Okay?
Okay.
But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a line across your page. And that's going to be your horizon line, which is your eye level. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to make this bigger so it's easier to see. There we go. Kind of like, can I move it over? Not really. Okay. So there you go. Can everybody see that? All right. You got 15 minutes.
Just draw the church.
Just the church and the ground.
Draw it right now?
Yes, now.
Oh, I thought you said we were taking a break.
No, I didn't say anything about taking a break.
Oh, I don't, we keep talking about coffee.
Yes, they did. I didn't.
So we have to draw.
Well, there isn't any coffee in the building.
No, there isn't.
So we draw something at eye level and then what? I mean, we draw a horizon line.
Yes. And then you put the church where it is, which is above your eye level. But your vanishing points, see, for all these boards and everything are going to go to that eye level down here. These are going to go to the eye level over here.
Charles,
Yeah, it's Armando.
can you move it a little bit to the left because we don't see the end of the porch?
Right, and you don't, okay? That's the edge of the picture.
That's not where.
Oh,
That's as far left as I can move it,
okay.
all right? Sorry.
It's all right.
And I'm not worried about the porch so much, you know? Okay, but I'm going to give you 15 minutes.
Does it change if you sit down or stand up? Yeah.
In this photo, no, because I was in fact sitting down. So you're drawing it from my directly photo. Okay, so I would probably put that horizon line a little below half of my page. Okay, because you're going to be putting more stuff above it. Okay, not below.
My hand shakes.
have the say it's running parallel. Parallel. Which means that the back of it and the front of it is on the same distance. How do you get this a little further away from it? Exactly. Well, see, the point of this can't be at the same height. So it's got to see, so point here, then about here. But yeah, you got the camera. It's going back. Right, see, that's not what we need. Gotta go back. Down. See, do you have a brush here? Okay, for those of you who had a brush on the easel, okay, here's a good trick. Take a brush and then line it up with the things you want to measure, and then drop straight down. See? Yeah, anything that's running parallel or perpendicular is going to go to the same bed. They're not going to go to different beds. We'll complicate your life. Casting points different beds. Right now, we want to just keep it simple.
Just a minute. Are we supposed to be drawing this house?
Yes, you are. Here. This is this argument right here. This point being further away. Can't be the same time. They make it go back.
And I didn't do it.
Yeah, you can make it one. Same thing for all of these. Start. The line are not this. Yeah, see, the one to the left, right, is higher. The one to the right
Yeah.
is lower. And then the same thing at the bottom.
I didn't get some for you.
Right.
Hello.
Now it seems like every phone call I get, warning them. Could be a possible scam.
I just got one from the geese one saying, my invoice was 600 some odd pounds. Then I looked up geese one and it's a big scam.
Yeah. That is a legitimate business. But yeah. Everybody gets hacked. Got a whole minute, 30 seconds left. Yeah. You get really good. But we're not worried about the details too much. We may just get
Get the idea.
Yes, trying to wrap your brain around. Oh my God! There's two different ways and they're heading in different directions. How do I do that? There we go. All right. Everybody have fun with that.
Oh, there's a ball.
Anybody sweating? There we go. All right. Let's see. All right. Where do I want to go from here? All right. So where I want to go from here, let's stop sharing that. Oh, that's not what we want. Okay. That's not what we want either. Yeah. There we go. Oh, where did I want to go? There we go. I wanted to go to this one. Right. Okay, so. Okay, not yet. Okay. Remember last week, we were talking about those little shapes within the human body, right? That kind of bullet shape. That was kind of the, hang on. So you had the bullet kind of shape that was for the rib cage, and then you had the underpants for the pelvis, right?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see the lying figure on the ground?
Can. Yep.
Okay. All right. So this is something I sketched out this morning. I didn't have a live model, but we were talking about constructive figure drawing, right? Bridgman and that whole thing. Notice the pair of underpants.
Yep.
Notice the rib cage.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I would not be able to draw that if within my little brain, I was not able to think about and conceptualize what those shapes would look like they were laying down on the ground or a platform in front of them, right? Okay?
Yep.
But this is the way that a lot of artists work, particularly animators. Why? Because they don't have time to go out and hire a model to lay down on the floor in front of them, or to drop off of the ceiling, you know, or something like that, or fall from a 30-story building, right? They have to be able to think about this stuff in their head, and they got to be able to draw it, okay? And the only way that you can do that is you have to understand those basic shapes and how they would move in three-dimensional space, right? And guess how you get good at doing that?
Practice.
Practice, that's right. But, you know, you could practice drawing the figure, right? But there's another way you could do it too. You could take a block of wood, right, at your house, set it on your desk, put a single light source on it, and begin to draw it, right? A block of wood might represent the ribcage, right? You know, if you had a shorter block of wood and you cut it at a 45-degree angle, you know, on the bottom of it, it might it might represent the underpants, right? Kind of shape. And that's really all this is, okay? But if you practice just drawing that and the relationships and the angles that they make, then pretty soon you'll begin to figure out that, I could draw a human figure in almost any pose at any angle out of my imagination. That would be a scary thing, wouldn't it? Okay? And human bodies being one of the more complicated things you're ever going to draw. If you could master that, you know. Yeah, well, they're not going to be able to see that. Okay. Yes, Barbara Baker just handed me a little skeleton in a lotus pose.
Does he move? Or?
No, unfortunately, he does not. He's not articulated. So, but he's very cute. Yeah. But you could draw something like that. But you know, being able to figure stuff like that out, very handy. Okay. All right. Not that I'm going to torture you guys and make you draw that today, but it's coming. Okay. So let's see. All right. I'm going to give you about another. This is pretty simple. We're going to do a 10-minute drawing. Okay. This is what we're going to draw, and then guess what we're going to do?
Take a break.
Then we're going to take a short break. Okay. All right. So you got 10 minutes. Yes, this one. It's a 1 point per second. It helps. You know. It's very simple.
We're just drawing what we see. We're not making any gestural drawings with these, right?
No, we're just drawing perspective. So the first thing, Susan, you might want to find is where your eye level is, right? And draw a line all the way across the page, right, at your eye level. And then you might want to make, you know, like the roof line, the floor line, the rails, everything go back to a single point on that eye level or horizon.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. Stop drawing. All right. Let's take 5 minutes. For those of you out there in TV land, go get yourself a cup of coffee or get up, walk around, breathe a little bit, okay? Come back in like 5 minutes. Is that what we want to do? No.
Charles, I could just kind of ask you what I missed before the house.
Oh,
Was it a bunch of fast drawings? Or was it?
no, we talked about perspective. Okay. I'll tell you what, you and I need to get together after the class, okay? And,
Okay.
and I'll try to catch you up a little bit, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry, I had a doctor's appointment.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. But yeah, we'll do that afterwards. Okay. So look, it's 11:22. Let's actually be back here at 11:30. And be back here at 11:30. I want to start a 30-minute perspective drawing. Of a human body. Say what?
Ahí.
No. I only wanted you just work on attendance. Not looking at the idea. I don't want you to. Not about getting the details.
Hi, Barbara. Is it? It wasn't gone. Does it look in? This is in acrylic. This acrylic I have. Allá está ahí. Esto no tiene, pero ya no está teniendo.
He just turned 84. Yeah. No, he's actually doing pretty well. You know. it's helping a lot, you know, you can travel more now.
Really?
Yeah, it was having a hard time.
I'll tell you, it was not easy the first 3 weeks. It wasn't as easy as I knew.
Yeah. Well, it's not a pain-free process.
No, but once you get through it,
Yeah. Yeah, but once you begin to build some strength back up, you know.
yeah, that's what one of it's is like, it's hard to say when you see me on the computer, it's because they made reinvented some behavior.
It just had a chest day. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check something.
I'll fix it.
Okay, you guys ready? It is 11:31. Time to get started again. Okay, so we're going to do a long drawing. Okay. Now, let me stop the music. Get back. Okay, you guys remember this from earlier in the week? Okay, we were talking about planes, right? And what is a plane? P-L-A-N-E. That's right. In our context, it is not the thing that TWA had to use on New York, Texas. It is a flat surface, okay? And it doesn't matter. Transworld Airlines.
Long gone.
Yeah, long gone. Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how complicated of a shape something is, even a sphere, right? You can abstract this, right? And what does abstract mean? To simplify, right? You can simplify this down into something that looks like a disco ball, right? It's got flat surfaces on it, right? And anytime that you look at like a spherical object or a cylinder or something like that, every time that you see that the color or the value changes on that surface, that means that you have a change in the direction of the plane toward the light, right? Either toward or away from. But the same is true on the human body, right? So any kind of rounded object, so you need to break it into values, right? It's values, 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 and values, and values again, right? That's all it is, a value. Now, if it were like a rectilinear object, like a house that we just did, right, or a church, you see, that's basically what happens, right? Now, this would be above our eye level, right? Looking at it in perspective. And obviously, the light is coming in from the right, and we're not getting any light on the bottom, but we're getting a little bit of light over on the other side, reflected light probably, right? And you take that rectilinear object, you change it into a cylinder, and the same thing happens, right? Light's coming in from the same direction. As it moves toward the right edge, the value is getting slightly darker, right? Because there's not as much light hitting over here as there is there, right? But then you get that, because it's a round object, you get this thing called a core shadow, right? Right there, right? It's where the light and the dark meet. And then from there, everything over to the left is a shadow. And you might get some reflected light back in on the shadow side. Keep in mind, though, the value on the light side and the value in the shadow are never going to be equal. Everything in the shadow is always going to be darker than anything on the light side, right? So when you look at an arm, right, and it's a cylindrical object or a leg, and you have light coming from one direction, even though it might get slightly darker, you know, on one side, on the shadow side, it's always going to be darker than that. Okay? Now, why am I telling you all this? Okay. Well, and this is a figure study that I did last Sunday. And, you know, this young lady took this pose. And again, it's like every value says what? That the surface is changing, right? It's moving around that form. Okay. You all got that concept, right? Because now, and we saw that little, there we go. Okay. Can you guys out there see this?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see John's face.
top of your head.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I was negligent. I did not share. Okay. I will now. Okay. So this is what we're drawing. Okay. Now, forget about all the detail. Look for that bullet shape. Look for that underpants shape in the hips. Which direction are they pointed? Okay. You're going to have to figure that out to draw this figure.
Pointing up.
What's pointing up?
The undergarment thing that you say.
The underpants shape?
Yes.
Is it pointed up? No,
No,
not really.
Up.
Up? No, it's not pointed up.
No, up.
It's lying down on its back, right? But it's angled away from us, isn't it? Okay. And then the bullet shape, right? And you can see it fairly clearly here. You see the edge of the rib cage here? See, that's the bottom of it. And then the top of it is right here, where the shoulders meet. Whoop. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, yeah, right here where the shoulders meet. See, that's the top of it. See?
I don't see a little arrow. Is there supposed to be a little arrow where you're showing us?
No, it's right there where the arm attaches to the rib cage. See? There's like, you get the top of the shoulder, right? And then there's almost like an angled line, right? Going toward the neck on both sides. And that's the top of that bullet. That kind of makes sense?
Are you talking about the line in the middle of her stomach?
No, I'm talking about, okay, the arm that's closest to us, right?
Uh-huh.
You get the top of the shoulder, right?
Right.
And then just up above that, it's like you could draw almost a straight horizontal line, right?
To her head.
Where,
Okay.
yeah, where it kind of meets with the chest. Okay, that's one side, that's the top of the bullet. And then there's another one on the other side, you know, between the arm and the chest that you can see.
The crease.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's like the top of the bullet, the bottom of the rib cage where the ribs are poking out, that's the bottom of it. And the bottom is facing away from you, the top is coming toward you.
Okay.
You kind of get that idea?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit, okay. A little bit is better than none. All right, so you got 30, well, now you got 20 minutes. Okay, because we talk about it. So take your time. Get the gestural line first, right? You know, find a line that moves from the toe through the head, right, as a gesture. And then put that bullet shape and put the hips on top. Okay. And then draw all the rest of the stuff in between. Make sense? I'm not hearing a resounding yes out there.
But you won't be move this either up.
Oh, you want to move it up? Sure.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay, so if you want to move this up. Okay, that's my place. That's this. Hold on a minute. Okay. Now let's move forward. There you go. Thank you.
You want us to draw those round circles?
Well, yeah, I want you to draw. I want you.
Like this would be a little spot here, with an
No.
angle.
Okay, brilliant. I want you to draw. You can find. the
That
shape.
was my check.
Yeah, well, let's do it quick.
Oh, okay. Okay, then you're just doing the
Yeah,
right.
find the head. Just find the head. Yeah, well, yeah, we don't need to draw a circle between space because, you know,
That's what they do, that's
yeah. I am. Okay. It seems to be a perpetual thing. People know I have a phone that they're going to call me. And I wish they would. Yay!
La mitad. Y eso te va a hablar contigo. Ya te sé tú. Te mantendré. Siempre con un persona. Ay, pero a mí, ¿por qué no me invitaste? Claro. Oye, ya te sé. slow this down.
There we go.
All right,
Wasn't that fun?
just in time.
Just in time. Okay. How did everybody do?
Okay, except for the music.
No,
Yeah.
you don't like YouTube. It's
The
supposed
same
to-
15 notes played every 10 seconds is just more than I can handle. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, it was supposed to help you relax, Bob.
But
It didn't.
not doing the job.
It failed, huh? Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Miserably.
Miserably. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Uh,
All right. Anyway, thank you all for coming. And hopefully you learned a little bit, right?
uh-huh.
Yeah, good stuff. Good
Now,
stuff overall.
Now, did anybody think while you were drawing that figure about how she was sitting or laying in perspective for you?
I did.
Yes,
Whether she was
Yeah.
above or below your eye level and what those
Yes.
two shapes were doing? See?
To me, at my eyes level, to me.
Well,
What
part of
comes
her was
out?
above, part of her was below. So overall, had a little bit of all of it. Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, you certainly have her feeling like she's kind of important. Okay. Which is good. One thing though, you could look for like where to break that shape in the front, where to break this shape. Well, you can see
I know. it's a bit more-
inside the form, okay? And you know, it will be able to- they will get that visual. Okay, that'll work.
Okay.
I promise. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Again, you know, looking for those shapes, one, you know, under, so you got the head turned forward, and then you got the shoulders. But in the torso, you gotta look for where it breaks. You know, yeah, the rib cage. Treat that as a shape, put it in front of the lower part of the abdomen stuff. And you don't have to go a line all the way around, but if you have it break. See, like, you put this in. You do this, like that. See, it's enough. That's it. In front of that. Yeah, but it's just like that little extra bit to say, you know, like again, you know, like, you know, this part, the rib cage, the So you know, you got the, and you got the overlap in shape here. You see you both that line in front, and then here you kind of both that line in front. Look back. Where you kind of need to work with it, like right here, kind of over here. And like, right? And all of a sudden, it pushes back. And then you get the.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think like one shape You know, I see that, like here at the shoulder, you know, you got the value of here, but. And when it did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. How you doing? Okay. You know something? There's a saying, and what they say is 99% of everything is showing up.
You read?
So you made it. Okay.
We all.
Yeah.
Somebody give me right, but
Okay. But you gotta change. Okay. Okay. See, at least you got like a draw. Every day. 5 minutes. Draw. 5 minutes. Okay. Draw every day 5 minutes. There you go. I would say that, okay, it's a good practice thing. And it's nice that you're turning and looking at all the different angles of it. Try to make more deliberate. Okay. So that when you kind of, when you're not quite sure, it'll kind of get a little bit scratchy. But just kind of simplify it. Okay. And don't worry about shading it. But yeah, that's good. You're explaining that's something that's all. You're welcome. Okay. All right. So Armando, we're not going to see you for lunch, right?
No.
No. You're self-isolating.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you're still gonna go over that stuff with me too, right?
Yes,
So-
I am. I'm going to go over that with you.
So we
I'm
want
sorry.
paint. You can paint my lady in black.
I can paint your lady in black. What do you mean?
About pottery, about clay.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm not going to put it. You can come back and do it.
Okay.
You'll be all right. You'll be here next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be out of your quarantine period. So, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. All right, Susan.
Armando, are you here?
All right, you're all mine. So let's talk about fire, Armando.
Oh, oh no, I'll listen to you.
Go away. All right, Susan. All right, so here's what we talked about. Okay.
Okay.
What we talked about was perspective. Okay. And let me share the screen. Okay. And Mandana, why don't you move up here?
Oh, I'm in here.
And you can listen to this too, since you came late. Okay, so let's see. All right. So we started working with perspective today, right? And we started working with the idea that first of all, there's several different types of perspective that you have to know about. And the first one is 1-point perspective, right?
Okay.
Mandana, you're going to come settle down? Something to write with? I don't yeah. Let me see if I can find you a pen. Hang on.
Okay.
Here you go. Okay. So 1-point perspective. Okay. So what does that really mean, Susan?
You know, when I was looking at the picture that you're showing right now, my eye level was going to the lights above instead of across the. Yeah, I was seeing it totally different.
Pick up my drawings.
I did not. Oh, wait. Oh, she?
This one?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Here.
Yeah.
Mandana, grab it.
Yes.
Grab a board.
I think it's right there.
You're right over there. It's got clips and everything on it. Okay. All right. So the idea, Susan, is, okay, perspective. All perspective means is it's the relationship of where you, the viewer, is in relationship to everything else, the thing you're looking at, okay?
Okay, so I can see it at a different angle than what your eye level is showing on that
What do
picture,
you mean,
right?
seeing at a different level? Well, okay, the eye level is where we are, okay? And I drew this, so it's where I was, okay? And if this is a doorway, notice that it's not halfway up the door. It's about, 3/4, maybe 2/3 of the way up the door, right? And
Right.
which would be about my eye level walking through a standard size
Oh, here it is.
door,
Here it is.
okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So
But
first
I'm
thing,
seeing the level higher than that. Is it still okay? Or
All right.
well, no, because look,
Now I feel calm.
these vanishing points, like the edges of the wall, where do they go? They go to a center point right here where that eye level is. See, they meet up. They meet up right there. And the floor does the same thing. It meets up at the same point. The angle. See, all these angles go back to this one point, and that's why they call it one-point perspective.
okay, I'm gonna. Can I take a picture of this?
Yes, yeah, please do. Yeah, write some notes, take a picture, whatever you got to do. Because this is important stuff and you got to get this down.
If you don't mind, I'm listening in.
Say what?
I'm listening in too.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Thank
fine.
you very much.
Yes. Okay. So that's one point perspective. Okay. So all that means is that all the vanishing points are going to go to that one single point in front of you, on the horizon line or your eye level, because eye level and horizon line are the same exact thing. All right.
Right. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
the fact is, Susan, if I'm standing up, see, my eye level is going to be about 2/3 of the way up that door, or maybe 3/4, right? But if I were
Right.
sitting down, then that eye level would drop down to maybe half. See, because I'd be lower, right? So the eye level would have to move down. Whenever I move, the eye level moves.
Okay, but when we were drawing this, there were no people in the picture.
No.
So my eye level
When
was
you-
up.
Right. But the way you can tell where the eye level is, you look at these diminishing lines, and where do they go to? Well, they go right back here where that sign is in the middle of the door. It's slightly higher than half, where that dark spot is in the middle of the door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like right there, kind of where that triangle is. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. All these lines, see, they go really right there where that yellow triangle is. So that's your eye level. That's how you can tell where your eye level is when you are out in the world looking around, right?
Okay,
Where do
so
those
it's
lines go
not
to?
really the picture that I'm looking at. It's just how I would be if I was there, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I took a photo, and yeah, if you were looking down the hallway here at Benson, that's what you'd see. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this one too.
Okay. So that's a one-point perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Great class.
Well, hope you enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, have you been in the Atlanta area long enough to remember We Are Canada Day? The late 70s or early 80s.
Yeah,
It was
didn't
the very first class I ever took. And when she explained the perspective, I just didn't get it. It was just, I didn't, I was gonna get this, but you just did it so well.
Thank you.
So, anyway,
All right.
all right.
So that's 1 point perspective that we're looking at. Okay. Now,
Right.
what happens, you know, because you're out moving around the world and you're not just going to be looking straight down a hallway all the time. What happens when you begin to either turn your head from where you were standing, you know, and your angle changes? This happens, see? And this is an example of 2 point perspective. All right, so instead of having, you know, you still have to find your eye level, and your eye level is about 2/3 of the way up that wall right there at the corner, right? So you know where the gray strip ends, go about 1/3 of the way up from there to the corner, and that's your eye level, okay? And you'll notice that the lines, right? All those, you know, vanishing point, you know, lines are going back, see, to a point that they would meet that's really about at that level. Okay, but one is going to go off to a point on the right. See, everything over here on the wall to the right is going to go off to a point on the right. Everything over here on the left is going to go off to a point on the left. 2 different vanishing points, 2 point.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. You got that, Mondana? See, these are going off over here. This is going off way over here. 2 point. Then our eye level is kind of about right there. Okay. Okay, now, you know, different rooms have different interiors and stuff, and the surfaces change, the directions change. And you can look at stuff like these tiles, right? All these individual tiles. You can look at like the stalls, right? And you could look at, you know, like this piece of wood here at the top, you know, and look at all the different angles. See the bottom of the stalls, the top of the stalls, this, okay. This begins to tell you where one of the vanishing points are. The other thing you can follow is you can follow the tiles here on the side of the wall, and you can follow the ones on this side, on the left side, right? Back to the 2 different vanishing points, you know, that these go to. So again, because they're going to 2 vanishing points, it's a 2 point perspective, okay? 2 point. See? Even the bench. See, the bench is going to a vanishing point way over to the left, right? And then the front and the back of it, you know, the sides here, are going off to the other vanishing point.
Okay.
Same thing with this room.
Yeah, that's the library. Okay.
Right. See, the wall with the big window in it is going off to a vanishing point way over to the left. And the left wall is going to a vanishing point way over to the right. See how they diminish as they're going, you know, to those vanishing points? Okay. And that's what you're looking for. Is you're always looking for those angles, you know, and where they go to. All right?
I get it.
You get it. Okay. All right. So that's what we were talking about.
Okay, it's actually what you're saying. A vanishing point is where it's kind of disappearing, right?
Yeah, it's where those angles come together. Now, here's a drawing I did, pardon me, of a 2 point perspective, right? So you got a building, right? And you got, you know, one side of it going off to a vanishing point on the left. The shadow side is going off to a vanishing point on the right. And then look at the figures, see? Your eye level is here, and if they're standing up and you're standing up, well, the way you place a figure is you figure out their eyes have to be close to the vanishing point that mine are on. And so you have some idea of how to make them you know, the size they are, right? Depending on how far away they are from you. Just like the trees, as they get further away, they diminish, right? Okay.
Right.
So you can
So the
use,
people are almost as big as the trees. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you see, you can actually use perspective to figure out size relationships of things if they're similar items, right? Okay.
Right.
Now, the problem we have, since we're trying to begin to draw the human body, right, is that all human bodies are not standing straight up and down like these guys, right? They do things. They bend over, they lean, they lay down on the ground, things like that. So if they lay down on the ground, you got a problem. You got this problem, see? And the way you figure out the perspective on this is you look for that underpants shape, right, which is the one that's closest to us. And then you also look for the shape of the rib cage, right, which is that bullet shape. And or you can turn it into like a block, right, in perspective, and find the orientation of those on a figure, and you'll be able to get the, you know, the foreshortening, you know, and the perspective on the figure a lot easier. See, but you have to find these first, you know. So you'll find the gesture, right? Go from the head all the way down to the toe. And then you'll find where the ribs are. You'll find maybe where the head is. You'll find where the hips are, right? And then after that, it's just attaching the arms and the legs. Okay? And it makes it a much easier process, you know, so that when you do.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So the vanishing point is like going toward the head, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like the sides of these are going somewhere back here, and see, you know, they're going to go back up here. See, we're standing up, so our eye level is way up here. Because
Okay.
we're up above the figure, right? So you can find the angles, right? The vanishing points on this, because they're not pointed the same direction, is going to go off, but it's still going to end up, it's still going to end up on that eye level up there. Okay?
Okay.
Always keep in mind, okay, no matter what it is, whether it's below your eye level, at your eye level, or above your eye level, you know, it's going to go to a vanishing point at your eye level. It has to, okay? It's not going to go somewhere way up in the air, somewhere way down below on the ground. It's going to go to that horizon line, okay?
Okay.
So that was the key point, is how, you know, you got to think about these things in space, in three-dimensional space, and how they turn, and what happens, you know, if the body's twisted a little bit. As per example, come on, and we did the church, and, you know, just to get everybody to, come on. Got to get there. Like her, right? So you got to find a shape for the head. We got to find a shape, that bullet shape, for the rib cage. And then, you know, we got to find that underpants shape, you know, in the hip. And if you get those right, even without drawing the arms and the legs, you'll know that this is in an arch, right?
Right.
And that none of these are pointed in the same direction. They're changing because they're curved, right? Same thing here. Not as much, but it's still doing the same thing, right? See, it's curving, arching, right? So the closest thing to you, other than her head, is that bullet shape. And you see right here where the shoulder is, it gets a little darker if you go right above there. Well, that's where the shoulder attaches to the rib cage. On the other side, on the other arm, you get the top of the shoulder, and see, you get that same slightly darker area right there. See, the rib cage is lighter, and then you get that little dark kind of angled line, and then you get it's called the deltoid, right? That muscle right there. That and part of the pectoralis. That makes up that shoulder. But that's the top of the bullet right there. See, and that tells you the direction it's pointing in, and the fact that it's not moving to the side from us, it's actually coming toward us slightly. See? So it's not a sideways view, it's kind of pointing not directly toward us, but about half or about 3/4 of the way toward us. And the same thing is true with the hips. See, the hips are actually turned, see again, not directly toward us, but about 3/4. And so we have to figure out how to draw that shape in a 3/4 view. Make sense?
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture of this too.
Okay.
Because I think I would have drawn it a little differently if I'd heard this before.
Yeah.
I was, okay.
Okay. So there it is. In brief, we condensed everything down into a quickie, but you kind of got the idea of what we're talking about now, right?
Right.
So it doesn't matter whether you're drawing a figure and or a still life or an outdoor building or anything else. One of the things you have to consider is the perspective. Where are you in relationship to the object? And what is it doing? Is it coming towards you? Is it moving away from you? Is it turned, like directly horizontal in front of you? You've got to figure all that out and break it down into simple shapes so that you understand what's going on there. Because there's a lot of stuff in there. And it's really easy to get caught up in all the details of all that stuff. But if you can simplify it, abstract it, right? That word abstract, simplify, then you can begin to understand it and you can draw it better. Because as Leonardo da Vinci says, you can only draw what you know.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, if you're not familiar with a thing, if you have not explored it, if you haven't understood it, you're not going to be able to draw. All right?
Right, okay.
That's the lesson. Okay?
Right, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right? You got it,
I
Avatar?
appreciate it.
Yes, I did. Thank
Okay.
you very much. That's very helpful.
Yeah, did you get that, Mom? Okay, so you got a better grasp of what we're doing now. Cool. All right. Anyway, have a good weekend.
And you too, enjoy your lunch.
You too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right.
And Monday, we're having the
Yeah, we're going to look at the Evening of the Arts presentation. Okay? Yeah, the Zoom recording of it. I haven't even seen the Zoom recording of it yet, but I'm going to. Okay?
okay.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.